Right, good evening. I call to order the meeting of the Manassas Park Governing Body for October 21st, 2025. We have a request for remote participation. Kevin Moreau is requesting to attend remotely due to being out of town for a work obligation. Do I have a motion to allow the remote participation?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Are you there, Kevin? Is Ke- No, you can't, but I just wanted to make sure you're there. All right. Approval of the agenda. We have an amended agenda. We're going to be removing item 11A. Do I have a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Kevin? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. All right, please join us for a moment of silence. And Vice Mayor Moore, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, right now is general public comment time. We will have comments for the public hearing later on the agenda. Is anyone signed up for public comment? Yes? Or you don't, you could just come up if you're not signed up. All right, who wants to go first? Please come to the mic, limit your comments to 3 minutes, and Lena will be keeping the time.
So, thank you. I'm Charlie Grimes. I'm with the Greater Prince William Trails Coalition, and I'm here to express my appreciation for what you all are doing, particularly regarding the bike pedestrian planning and the bike pedestrian infrastructure that you're looking at. Your focus on us doing something other than cars is a great example for Prince William County and some other nearby jurisdictions. I hope that you continue your focus. I hope that you get to advance this at a regional level at NVTA, and I look forward to seeing all of our kids being able to get from the east side and the west side back and forth across 28.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Mike Freeland, also with the GPWTC, and just wanted to echo Charlie's remarks too, that I want to thank you for your advocation for bike peds, and especially in the legislative agenda that I think you'll be discussing tonight. I'm a 71-year-old cyclist who enjoys cycling, but I enjoy cycling off-road. And I am looking forward to the day when I can ride from Stonewall Park to Signal Hill without being on the streets, and even from Manassas VRE to Manassas Park VRE parking garages without being on the street. So I think the more we can get bikes off the streets, I think you'll find more people using bikes and being much safer. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Anyone?
I'm Alan Muchnick, co-chair of Active Prince William, and I enjoy riding my bike on the street. But I do want to thank you for all the planning that you've done. For those of you who aren't on MVTA, they're currently wrapping up a study of the funding needs, or what would be needed to fund the already planned but unfunded pedestrian and bicycle projects that are in all the regional transportation plans and comp plans in Northern Virginia. And VDOT finished a study last year that was spurred on by Senator Surville that concluded that to build, there was, they identified 4,875 miles, something like that, of unfinished, of lane miles of pedestrian and bicycle facilities that were in these plans, and that omitted hundreds of miles of unfinished sidewalks, for instance, not in Prince William County. So anyway, building those as standalone projects would cost anywhere between, they estimated, between $9 and $30 billion. Anyway, the MVTA, they brag about how much, and they're actually, because of all the advocacy over the years, they're actually now, and I'll congratulate them, they have this website called the Nova Gateway where they track their projects, and they're actually measuring the lane miles that their funding for pedestrian and bicycle projects as part of their facilities. I believe somewhere around they've actually funded 86 projects, I believe, but 73 of them are with the 30% local money, and 13 are funded with some regional of the MBTA, 70% regional money. And as I recall, the total figure, and that includes, that's over 16 fiscal years, is $191 million that have been allocated over those years, many of them out years, up to, I think, 2029, for pedestrian and bicycle projects. One of which was, I think it's over $30 million for the Crystal City to DCA bike bridge. That's like over $30 million alone. But anyway, if you take that $191 million and divide it over 16 years, I think it comes to roughly, I forget, $8 or $12 million a year. And I calculated it would take 2,500 years to finish, if that was the only source of funding, to finish all those projects that VDOT identified. So thanks for, in Manassas Park, you really don't have a lot of new roads that you're going to build, and I imagine that the funding that you're going to do is going to be to make the existing roads safer. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to make public comment? Nope. All right. Tonight we have a public hearing. Our public hearing is regarding a water and sewer ordinance amendment. I declare the public hearing open. Welcome, Calvin.
Good evening, Mayor Menson, Vice Mayor Moore, members of council, residents, staff, and guests. I'm Calvin Odell, the Director of Community Development. Here tonight, we amended the Water and Sewer Ordinance, Chapter 25 of the City Code back in June. One of the minor amendments that we wanted to make was staff had been dealing for some time trying to collect tap fees for an ongoing development in the city, and we wanted to put in an absolute due date for those tap fees, availability fees they're called in the code. Unfortunately, at the time, it seemed perfectly logical to make the availability fees either due at the time of site development permit issuance or at the time of meter installation, whichever came earliest, which is the way the wording in the code was approved. And looking back on that, there's several types of development, like shell buildings, pad sites, where a developer may come in and you may not actually see water usage meter installation for years, and they would carry those borrowing costs for quite some time. It could deter development, could be an issue with the banks. Likewise, there's often times where the developer is not the entity that's going to be responsible for the build, and those developers and builders have agreements that don't include covering of the tap fees. There's quite a few situations that we came up with where it may not be logical for those tap fees to be paid at development permit. So all the suggested change does is still leaves in those two milestones where absolutely at one of them tap fees is due, so there would be no more arbitrary, this is when you pay your tap fees, but it would either be at site development issuance or at installation of the meter, but then with the approval of the director. So whichever makes better sense for the project that's ongoing or the city, that's what the director would approve. That's the recommended change, is to give the director discretion on when those tap fees would be due at which of those milestones.
Okay. Any questions? We'll start with Councilmember Seiberling.
No questions. Thank you for the explanation.
No questions, thank you.
No questions.
No question. Thank you, Cal.
Kevin, do you have any questions?
We lost Kevin a couple minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Never mind, he's
Um,
back.
All right. Is there anyone who would like to make public comment regarding the public hearing? No? All right. Seeing no one, motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Is that Kevin? Okay.
He's back.
Okay. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed at 7:10.
Thank you.
Thank you, Calvin. Okay, we have a few different recognitions. The first one is a proclamation honoring our veterans supporting flying of the Veterans Day flag. Whereas service and defense of the United States of America, both in times of war and peace, is the noblest form of citizenship, and whereas we honor the more than 41 million veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces who have sacrificed for our freedom, with many paying the ultimate price throughout our nation's history. And whereas the men and women of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Space Force, and National Guard have made significant contributions to preserving our nation's freedom. And whereas the words of President Eisenhower in 1954 remain true today, let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all those who fought so valiantly on the seas, in the air, and on foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us, sorry, I need my glasses. And let us honor ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace, so that their efforts shall not have been in vain. And whereas the City of Manassas Park, established as an affordable housing for World War II veterans, remains deeply grateful for the sacrifices of our veterans and will continue to honor our military community, both active and inactive, for their dedication to preserving our freedoms and the promise of liberty for all. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Manassas Park governing body hereby declares Wednesday, November 5th, as Honor Our Veterans Day in the City of Manassas Park by displaying a flag of appreciation for our nation's veterans on city buildings from November 1st to 30th, 2025, and calls upon all Manassas Park residents to observe Veterans Day on Monday, November 11th, through actions and words of gratitude towards veterans to honor all of those who have served to uphold the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Next, we have a proclamation declaring October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas breast cancer is the second most common cancer in women after skin cancer, and whereas breast cancer is about 100 times more common in women than in men, 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with the disease, and diagnoses increase as patients get older. And whereas doctors estimate that about 5 to 10% of breast cancers are hereditary, and individuals whose family history puts them at increased risk for breast cancer should discuss with their doctor or qualified health professional the proper prevention and early diagnosis strategies. And whereas since early diagnosis strategies have been introduced, the 5-year survival rate for a breast cancer patient has greatly increased, now at 91%. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month serves as an opportunity to increase awareness of the disease and to encourage individuals to have a plan to detect the disease in its early stages. And whereas it is vital that those affected by breast cancer have access to quality, affordable care, and that research of all forms of breast cancer continues to be vigorously supported. Now, therefore, I, Alana Mensing, Mayor of the City of Manassas Park, Virginia, and on behalf of the Manassas Park governing body, hereby proclaim and recognize October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Manassas Park, and call this observance to the attention of all of our residents.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Abstained? Motion carries. And lastly, we have a recognition recognizing October 25 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas anyone can be a victim of domestic violence regardless of race, age, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, or economic status. And whereas domestic violence threatens the physical, emotional, and mental well-being of victims, leading to lasting harm for individuals, families, and communities. And whereas children who witness domestic violence carry the trauma into their future, increasing their risk for health and behavioral challenges across their lifetime. And whereas domestic violence not only impacts intimate partners, but can also endanger family members, friends, neighbors, law enforcement officers, and community bystanders. And whereas ACTS, founded in 1969 and providing domestic violence services since 1980, remains the Greater Prince William area's only comprehensive domestic violence program, offering safe housing, court advocacy, individual and group support for children and adults, a 24/7 hotline, prevention, education, and crisis intervention services that are free, confidential, and available to anyone in need. And whereas in fiscal year 2025, ACTS sheltered 67 individuals in its safe houses, assisted 1,271 clients through court advocacy and accompaniment, and supported 2,630 participants in individual and group services, and provided 519 high-danger interventions through the Lethality Assessment Program. And whereas ACTS is a proud partner in the Lethality Assessment Program, working with local law enforcement to identify victims at the highest risk of homicide and connect them immediately to safety planning and life-saving resources. And whereas ACTS reached 2,606 community members in FY25 through prevention and education, equipping residents and allied professionals to recognize warning signs, connect survivors to resources, and support safety planning. And whereas ACTS works in partnership with law enforcement, the courts, healthcare providers, schools, faith communities, local government, and many other organizations to promote safety, healing, and prevention throughout our community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Manassas Park City Council hereby proclaims October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. And just a note, we have an event this Thursday at 6 o'clock at the Manassas Park Community Center. It is a domestic violence resources workshop. You can come, ask questions, and find out more. All right, where are we now? Presentations. First quarter crime statistics.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the governing body. I'm here to present the police department's first quarter for FY26 crime statistics. Sorry, I'm got a little tickle in my throat, so if I get a little hoarse on you. I did notice a typo on this, and I apologize. It should say FY25 on top and FY26 on the bottom. Okay, so if we look at crimes against people, persons, we're down. The thing is, if we ever get one or two, it kind of shows the percentage being higher, but that's because we have a low number to start with. So overall, crime is low for our city. We did see an increase in property crimes like a robbery and some other larcenies, motor theft, actually, motor vehicle thefts. We did see an increase, a reduction of all other larcenies. We've seen a 72% decrease. So overall, crime for us is about negatives are 65% under than what it was first quarter of last year. This is just a heat map of some of the crimes. We did the aggravated assaults, all their larcenies, motor thefts, thefts from vehicles and robberies. And as you can see, it's all over the city. It's not confined to one area. So, you know, we do look at these maps to see if we need to put more resources in the area. And as you can see, it's pretty much scattered throughout the city. We also do a comparison for our first quarter of calls for service. Some of the stuff we track is not all the calls, but we do domestic calls, alarm calls, noise complaints, vandalism, traffic accidents, and service requests. As you can see, there was an increase in domestics, and traffic accidents and noise complaints was a slight increase. So overall, we had about a 3% decrease, but there was a slight increase in those. Proactive policing, which we encourage our officers to do, traffic stop, traffic arrest, criminal arrest, DUI, extra patrols, we've seen a 16% increase across the board compared to FY25's first quarter. Any questions on these? That's all I have.
Any questions? We'll start with Kevin.
No questions.
Okay, Hasib.
No, thank you.
No, thank you, Chief. No questions.
Hasib.
No questions.
I do have a question, and I appreciate, and I know your officers have done great work, and that's one reason crime is down. I just have a question about overdoses. Has that decreased, increased on what you've seen on the police side, not the fire side?
I know we've seen a decrease, but I don't have those numbers in front of me, I'm sorry, but I can get those. There has been a decrease in overdose.
Have there been any deaths this year?
I'd have to look into that
Okay.
to make sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service and presentation. I have no questions.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
All right, next up, we have our legislative priorities discussion for FY26.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through some slides that basically is the accumulation of what we've collected from you over the past few weeks based on what you want us to focus on, or what you want our state legislators to focus on during the next session. One thing I do want to say is some of these things are also interesting at the federal level, so we intend to share the final adopted legislative priorities with Merchant McIntyre, so it can also be shared with our national federal representatives. So purpose, you know why you do this. We do it every year. got to be able to let our intentions be known. So I'm just going to go through the items. Some of them you've seen before because they came out of the legislative brunch that we had in August. But they have been repackaged a bit to just put them in a couple different categories, and we're not making a recommendation. This is basically for you to say as a group, yeah, we'd like to run this down, or no, we wouldn't, or we're neutral. Those are basically your options. And if something does occur to you that you didn't think of before that didn't get included, please let us know. We can talk about that now as well. So the first thing is the SNAP program. Obviously, feeding our children is important, so this is the first item. I guess I just look at you guys to see if you want to have a discussion about this, or just say yay and move on, or say nay and move on, or neutral and move on.
Is everyone in favor of including this? Anyone not in favor? Any changes?
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Kevin? Yay, awesome.
I figure that'll be the case in many of these, but some of them I think you'll want to talk about, so. All right, the next one is along the same lines. This is with the schools, so it's the breakfast and lunch programs at the school. Similar to SNAP, they are fully or partially funded by the federal government through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and we're anticipating that they're going to be impacted in some way as they look at funding for the next, if it ever starts up again for the next fiscal year. So yay or nay? I assume a yay on this one?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep.
Kevin?
This is then Senate Bill 1307 is the 1% sales tax for school CIPs. This was on the docket last year, did not pass. I believe it'll be reintroduced this year, and again, looking for consensus on whether we include this as something we support.
I'm a nay on this. And the reason I'm a nay, and I just want to state that for the record, is that we've lost 15%, and we've lost another 10%. Enrollment's down 27%, and we constantly have the highest tax rate. And I think this puts a burden on all those restaurants, all those businesses, localities raise their meals tax in the general area, and it's seen an impact at some of the restaurants, and Prince William County has regressed. So I think this will hurt our businesses.
Okay, so one no. Any other no's? Any other questions?
To oppose the 1%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You opposed
To
it?
additional 1%, right?
You-
That's what this is.
It's an additional.
Mhm.
Right, I thought I sent the email about this, but yeah, I'm not in favor of that.
Okay, 2 no's. Kevin?
I'm a yes.
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 Okay.
So the consensus is yes. And just to be clear, this is not imposing a tax. This is having a law passed at the state level that allows local governments to impose a tax. So if it does pass at the state level and it ends up coming back here, you have a lot of opportunity to talk about it.
And if I could add as well, there's also a referendum requirement on this if it passes, so we would have to go to the voters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Did you have a comment, Kevin?
No, sorry, I just want to clarify with Carl that we would have to exercise it, and I think Brian just answered my question
Okay,
of the referendum.
great.
You've seen this one before, or these two before. This is improvements to the, the first one's the Virginia Fire Personnel Equipment Grant Program. This program was a bill, again, introduced in session in 2025. Died in finance, provides funding for firefighters and equipment. Seems reasonable, but up to you.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, and the next one is improved retirement benefits for 911 dispatchers, basically treating them the same as Virginia State Patrol officers when they retire, especially from the hazard
Yay.
perspective. Yep, okay.
I'm a yay on this, but I understand why this isn't being done for all, even other employees, because VRS has been unfair for all the regular employees.
We can certainly change it. I should have said this earlier. Some of these things are bills that have already been put together, and then you'll see some that don't have bill numbers on them, and they're just ideas that don't have a corresponding bill. So
Right.
we could add
I mean, I think it should be fair, but I think VRS is one of the worst systems, especially on tier 3 if you're on it. I mean, thank God I work at an employer that does not use VRS. They have a rule of 90, these have a rule of 80. It just places hardship on, I mean, it's just a long time. You have to be there basically 33 years to retire, and that's a long time.
There may be, I didn't research that, but there may be other bills that we'll go down that road as well. Again, you guys will see this in a nice document at some point down the road once we get all the input, and and we'll include that.
Yeah, I'll have to second that if we
Yeah.
can push that, because VRS has degraded in the last 12 years. They've rolled out different versions of it. It's gotten worse and worse.
So I've got to work 33 years before I can retire?
Yes,
Okay, we'll add that
for
in.
5 years each.
Next one is to increase the retirement multiplier for law enforcement. Again, this was a bill introduced in 2025, did not pass. Basically improves, basically for every year you work, you get 1.75% of your highest average, I think, 5 years. And they would like to see that increased to 2, which I think is the national average. So I assume we're not going to fight on this one. Then this next one, House Bill 1986 allows VRS retirees to return to work without restrictions. What that means is continue to draw your earned retirement. Right now, if you want to return to work or take a job after you've earned your retirement, it can draw your retirement. In Virginia, you can only work part-time. And so this bill would allow you to work full-time. This was brought to us by the public safety folks because they believe that having part-time but credited law enforcement officers and firefighters would be a good thing for us, but it actually would benefit everyone in the system, so. Assume that's a yay?
So, which one?
Everyone okay with these two?
1986?
The first one, I'd like to see that for everybody. Yeah.
No, I got that, yeah.
The first one, HB.
Yeah, no, yep. We're on 1986 second one, which does actually apply to everyone.
No, I agree with
So,
that.
yeah.
Everyone okay with these two? Kevin?
Yes.
Next one, Senate Bill 130. So when you are drawing your retirement as a retired public safety person, you get hazard pay as a part of that. But once you reach Social Security age, the hazard pay is removed, and this bill is aiming to keep it going as long as you're living. So,
Yay.
Yeah.
yep.
Yay. Kevin?
Yes.
Great.
Another one for dispatchers, enhanced retirement system proposals for dispatchers. These were introduced in 2024. I'm sorry, the other one was hazard pay, like I talked about. This is the one that gives them the retirement like the state retirement, like the state patrol officers. But again, I think Councilmember Carrera's point, improved for everybody. Yes? Yes? All right, next one's new. You haven't seen this one before. This is a joint resolution between the House and Senate that would put a constitutional amendment on the ballot to remove the same-sex marriage ban from the state constitution. In order to get a constitutional amendment on the ballot, it has to pass with a majority vote in both houses for 2 consecutive years. It did pass in the session in 2025, so it passes in 2026. It could be on the ballot in the fall of 2026. Could be 2027 as well, but if it passes twice, that's the requirement. So, support?
Yay.
Yes, yes.
Next one, similar to that, also a constitutional amendment to establish the right to reproductive freedom in the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth, I'm sorry. Same situation, this one also passed in the session in 2025 and needs to pass again in the 2026 session and could be put on the ballot this fall, or next fall.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yay.
Yes.
Kevin?
All right. Next one is a constitutional amendment to restore voting rights for previously incarcerated adults without application. Right now, if you are a convicted felon and you've satisfied certain criteria, you can apply to have your voting rights restored. This joint resolution would make that automatic for convicted felons that have served their sentence. This is the same situation, passed in 2025, needs to pass again in 2026 in order to be on the ballot.
I'm a no on that. The way the way that bill is written, and I know about it, so I'm a no on that.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And then this next one is one that I could not find a companion bill for, so it's just the concept of allowing people to vote without government-issued ID.
My question on this one is, don't they already get to do that and just cast a provisional ballot?
They do.
So this, change it to a regular ballot? Or just keep it as is?
I think this amendment would change it to a regular ballot. If we go.
We should know who's voting.
Yeah, we don't have to support everything. This is just one of the items that was submitted for discussion, so I haven't gotten a read on this one, though.
I don't understand it. I
You
don't,
understand?
no, I don't understand it because then you can vote and I don't have an ID and then I come back and wear a hat and I can vote again?
No, you come in and you have to sign a document saying, I am this person. You don't have to prove you are that person when you vote.
Okay.
I'm a no for that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a no.
Okay.
Wait, well, let's go down.
No.
Michael?
No.
I'm a no. No.
Abstain.
Where are we allowing voting
The bottom one, yeah.
The bottom one, allow
I'd like to
voting
see
without a
more
government.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
it's very clear.
Well, again, there's no
Yeah.
bill
Sometimes
going with
very
this
clear.
one.
Let's
So-
leave it off for
Yeah,
now
I
until,
agree.
Yep.
Very
okay.
clear.
Sounds good. Sorry, Kevin, we voted without you.
The next one is, again, there's
Okay.
no companion bill with this one, but it is just the general idea that to increase protections against discrimination based on gender identity. There are a couple of laws on the books in Virginia that already do this in certain situations, but it is not global. So that's another idea that was submitted for consideration. So, again, there is no bill currently being considered, so.
I'm yes on all three of those.
I'm a yes for all three too.
Yes, there we go, each one.
Hold on, I
All
gotta
right.
read it.
Well, that makes that go fast.
Okay. Yes
Kevin,
on all
did you,
three.
can you see this, Kevin? I don't want to run past you.
It wasn't in the packet, but
Yeah.
I'm just kind of going based on, the verbal description.
Okay.
Okay.
But so I'm a yes on the first one, because I've heard that, but,
Okay, the second one was legislation improves access and affordability to mental health services. And the third one is supporting legislation improves funding for foster care and other child-based programs.
okay, yes for three, all three.
Is he good?
Yep.
Good,
Yeah,
okay.
me too. Good for all three.
Yep, great. The next one you've seen before, this is the bills that were introduced last year to redirect red light and speed cameras in school zones, the proceeds to the VHSIP program. This was, did not make it out of committee last year, but it is going to be reintroduced this year. So again, yay, nay, neutral.
Wait, what?
No, we don't.
Red light camera.
It redirects the money that comes off the enforcement of people that run the red lights or the speed in the school zones, and it gives that money to the state.
No.
No.
It comes to us right now.
Yes.
Correct.
I'm opposed to it in
Keep it.
general,
Yeah.
so.
Keep it.
Keep it here.
money.
Yeah, it would be considered a perverse incentive. Basically, there would be, we have to pay to have these cameras operating in our city. We'd have to, it would cost us to have this happen. But again, I didn't want to put any flavor on it, just get your guys, your opinion on it. The next one, again, Senate Bill 1404 would make it mandatory that all school boards have to be elected through general election. This was introduced last year, it did not pass. Continue to not support?
Yeah, absolutely. Or we'll have no school board.
I don't support that, but also if it does move forward, I think it's because of Hanover County what's going on there, and it should be just, cities should be exempt from that if it does pass. So it should just have a watered down or secondary.
Well, we'll monitor it. If it needs a friendly amendment along the way, we can react at that time, but got it.
Kevin, you good with school board and red light?
So just to be clear, we're saying we are against the school board method selection.
Yeah, against them having to be elected.
Correct, exactly, okay.
Which we already have the ability to do if we wanted to do here.
We could.
So we don't-
Yeah, yeah.
So just for the record, I'm actually for election process, for a more democratic process for the school board.
Okay.
But it sounds like the consensus is opposed. All right. You've seen this in a different little packaging as well. This is the statewide housing targets that requires that all jurisdictions increase their housing stock by a certain percentage within a certain amount of time.
As long as we don't have.
So I.
Go ahead,
I know
Kevin.
there was some discussion about this the first time it was brought up. I think Vice Mayor Moore had the point that, we as Manassas Park are pro-housing, right? We're always trying to create new housing stock. But I think that the bill as it's currently written could force our jurisdiction to create a lot more housing units that we might not have the ability to do and not take credit for the ones that have been completed in the past. And so as it is written currently, I would be opposed to it. And I think we should probably have our folks try to work with the authors of the bill to have some provisions baked in that say, to take into consideration the housing stock that's been created in Manassas Park historically, and then also talk about the penalties that cities or jurisdictions would be subject to if they did not meet these requirements before we, formally took a yes or no position on the bill. That's just my thinking.
We agree.
I'm a no.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin.
I agree. Just one question, where I discussed rent control and matching it to index. I think you, the vice mayor, rent control and matching it to
It's
index.
coming.
Oh, it's coming? Oh, you have it in here?
It's the next slide, I believe.
Oh, it said housing.
Yeah, the other thing with this thing is that the board can override a locality's decision to maybe reject a residential development. So I think that power should stay with the localities instead of giving it to a state control. So, I mean, the way it's written is just, it's not very locality friendly.
Yep.
I agree with opposing it as it's written, but monitoring it, and if another version comes out that we could support, jumping on that one.
Yeah, I expect we won't be the only ones in this boat, and it may be something we can be proactive on, actually, not just wait and
Yeah.
say, hey, let's change this, tweak this up front, and then
Yes.
we don't have to pay so much close attention to it, so
So perhaps we could write in there that we're willing to,
do a friendly amendment or,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exempts certain criteria, yeah. There are several other bills related to housing that have been introduced. All these titles, for some reason, are very, very long, so I tried to make them understandable in shorter words. But the first one is the right to appeal without cost the decision of the Public Housing Authority. So if you make an application and it's not approved, there's an appeal process for that, but you have to post a bond in order to do that. If they decide to evict you, there's an appeal process for that, but you have to post a bond in order to be able to do that. So these two bills would remove that requirement that you have to post the bond in order to appeal the decision.
I would support that.
yeah.
That was a yes?
I'm a yes.
Yep.
First one, I think I'm a no, because I think this is for the process for the application for the loan, or are you talking about
This is for rental.
The concern I have there is if it's probably, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, you can live almost 6-9 months before you get a full eviction. And if you're not paying rent and then you're appealing it, you're just holding off, and it does place a hardship on the owner. So I don't know what the bond is that you're required to put up, or do you know?
I don't.
So that would just be my concern. If the bond is $50 or $100, I understand that, but I don't know. So I'm a no on that one.
All right. A yes, a no, yes,
I don't know either.
okay.
You said you don't know?
I
either?
don't know either.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
The only thing about the second one, rent notice of non-renewal.
You haven't gotten there yet, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're on number
I thought
one.
you were doing all three.
So wait,
Okay.
let's see, were you a yes or no on number one?
Oh, right to appeal without cost. Oh, yeah, that's,
You're
Right.
a yes? Hold on.
yes.
We only have 3 yeses.
Oh, goodness.
Kevin?
So I'm a no on the first one and a yes on 2 and 3.
Wait, what's 2? We're just on the first one.
Yeah.
So Kevin's a no.
Yeah, so 2
So-
is, so it's a no on the first one.
Well, it's a
sounds
no
like.
on the
Yep,
first
yep.
one. We'll take it off.
So number 2 requires written notice of non-renewal of lease. I can't believe that is not a requirement already, but you can just say, hey, your lease is up at the end of the month, find a new place to live, and that's it. So this bill would require that you be provided written notice with a certain number of days, which hasn't been established yet, before your lease is terminated.
Yes.
Yeah,
Seems reasonable.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, good.
So my only concern for this one is that sometimes the tenant might forget to write that written notice. So then what happens is that now is going to be an auto renewal where the tenant's intention was to move out, but then now they're stuck into another auto renewal that policy the landlord can enforce
Yeah,
now.
these bills require the landlord to provide the tenant written notice if they're not going to renew their lease.
Oh, okay, so I thought this was the other way,
No,
tenant
no.
requiring, okay.
No.
So in that case, it's already built into the lease. They're usually 30, 60 days already in there.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is increasing the waiting period for a notice of eviction from 5 to 14 days. That seems pretty straightforward.
Yes.
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 And there was a number of input from governing body members that talked about general support for any bill that sort of improves housing, whether it be rent relief, opposition to rent gouging, utility assistance, building housing on church-owned land. Which the opposition to that is because church-owned land, of course, is not real estate taxable, but that is another possibility. Making lower the deposits or removing the requirements for deposits, all those sorts of things are all out there in the conversation about how to improve access to housing, but I could not find any bills that are current that address those. So I guess I'm just looking for general support for these sorts of things, and we won't, you'll have an opportunity to weigh in on each and every bill as they are introduced, but
Yes.
housing, we're in, got it.
Yes.
Yes.
Next thing's transportation. Again, not any direct bills that I could find, but basically support initiatives that provide funding for pedestrian overpass at Centerville and Manassas Drive.
Yes.
That'd be great. Direct the NVTA to increase funding allocation to bicycles and pedestrians. And
Yes.
all the things. I think we heard some public comment about that tonight. Support funding for the VRE and other rail projects in Nova.
Yes.
And then the last one is remove the moratorium on annexations.
No for me.
Oh, yeah.
Our sibling city has
Carl, can you
asked.
say a little bit more about what that one
Yeah.
is? Yeah, is-
Explain.
Well, again, there's
more
no,
about that one?
yeah, sure. There's no bill currently under consideration, but in the state of Virginia, the reason we're the youngest city in Virginia is because the state passed a moratorium on incorporation in becoming cities and then expanding as a city. That's why when we have an agreement with Prince William, we do a boundary line adjustment. We don't do an annexation, so because technically we can't do annexations, and we can't. No other town can incorporate as a city.
So the reason I asked for this to be included is because actually the city of Manassas put it on theirs, and it kind of inspired me because when we were bringing Signal Hill Park into our area and also the golf course, we had to do this convoluted boundary line adjustment because annexations are not allowed. And if they were allowed, that would have been a much simpler process.
Just kind of comments. I know, I think they renewed it again about 7 years ago to extend the moratorium. It's been in place since the late 70s.
50 years.
50 years. And the reason why is because then we could be annexed. We could have Bloom's Crossing say, I don't want to be part of Manassas Park anymore. I want to go to Prince William County, and they could be annexed. And I just don't support that.
Yeah, the impetus behind it was to provide support for the counties. If every town that grew to a certain level became its own city, then the counties would shrink and their resource base would shrink. So
My
I think
understanding,
it was-
there's 3 moratoriums. There's a moratorium on incorporation of cities, one on incorporation of towns, and then the one also on annexation. So
annexation,
there's
right.
there's 3,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
I'm only
correct.
asking for the one.
Yeah.
Although I'm up for
So
discussion.
there are people in Bloom's Crossing would probably, if you have a tax rate that's 40 cents lower, they could gather together and then what happens is, the reason I'm opposed to it is because then there's localities that want to take the wealthier part of localities, only areas that are struggling, and that's not right. And they do that all over the South, and it's just not right. I don't think,
That's a good point.
so I don't know, it's just my thought.
And again, there is no legislation currently being considered, but I think the mayor mentioned that Manassas put it on theirs, and so, and that was focused just on the annexation piece, not the other two, but.
I mean, I do think it's very pie in the sky, so if it comes off, it's fine. If you don't want to take it off.
I'm not supportive.
Remove it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can remove it.
We do want to make this digestible, so I think having a couple things come off is a good thing, so. Doesn't mean that something might not come along we wouldn't support, it's the presentation document will be cleaner. That's it, that's what I got from staff, and what I got from governing body input, so.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you. Carl, I just had a question on how you market this document. So once we finalize our prioritizations, other than the senator and our delegate, who else will get a copy of our prioritization?
Well, I intend to give it to Merchant McIntyre so they can share it with
Okay.
our 2 senators and our congressperson.
Yes.
But that's it. The point of it is to influence legislation at the state and federal level, so.
Okay, I just wonder if there's any bodies or other groups like Virginia League of Cities or
Oh, yeah, well, yeah,
other
we'll-
organizations that we could be sending this to
We will
that
share
does
it, yeah.
legislation.
I think Kelly wants to.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Kelly wants to chime in
The
here.
VML legislative people will definitely get it. Sorry.
Yeah, I typically send it to the Northern Virginia Liaisons Group as well. We all kind of send what our priorities are once voted, and we'll discuss actually next week to meet everything we're bringing forward.
Fantastic. Good to hear. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Any other questions, comments? Kevin?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So I have a question, and maybe this is for Carl or for Kelly. Does this list seem too long? You know, to me, it seems like a really long list of things and priorities. And so I don't know if it's a reasonable list, or friends at Berkshire McIntyre can kind of give us a view on that, or whether they should say, hey, you take this list and prioritize and give us your top 5 or top 10. Or it could be perfectly reasonable that, you know, these are our priorities and there's a really good chance that we can get a lot of these things, you know, either passed or you know, things that we're in opposition to, you know, defeated. So I don't know if anyone on the body has views on that, or if Carl or Kelly have, you know, opinions from prior sessions or other professional experience.
Yeah, I think that the way I would put it together is I would put together the elevator speech document first, which is the short one-pager, and then a bill list. So all of the bills that come up, whether that we want to either support, oppose, or I guess we need to list the ones that we're neutral on. But so that document can grow as bills getting introduced and invented. But I think the original document will just be a more philosophical overview and topics, not necessarily listing each and every bill that might fall into that topic. So we haven't figured out exactly how it's going to look yet, but I think you're right, and I think we're going to try to do something that works.
I did speak.
All right, thank you.
I did speak to Senator Rome about this over the summer, and she did ask, like, if there are specific bills that you want a yes or no, list them all out. She was looking for something a little more comprehensive, but I do like your idea of the cover page. And are we going to be voting on this at our next meeting after you clean it up and package it?
That is my fervent hope.
Great. So we'll have another look at it before we vote for it.
Well, we'll try to get it out beforehand too, so you can digest it. I will say I am not artistic when it comes to, you know, graphic design, that sort of thing. Kelly's better, but
Great.
you know, we'll take any
So we get
suggestions you got.
pictures. Good. Any other comments, questions? Okay, thanks so much. Now we have information, our city gateway wayfinding signage.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of council. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Honorable Mayor, members of council, I'm Steve Hall, the Transportation Program Manager. I'm pleased to be in front of you tonight to present our Gateway and Wayfinding Sign Plan. For those of you that were present this afternoon, we had a great ribbon cutting for the VRE Park Central Garage downtown. This effort as well is aimed at getting people into downtown. So it's a really, really big deal for Manassas Park and the garage itself, but this also is as well. Some background, our comprehensive plan from 2019, which we will be updating pretty soon. So some of these goals may change a bit, but we talk about our city center redevelopment district. We talk about having a mix of uses in our city center redevelopment district, and we talk about implementing wayfinding signs to get people to our city center redevelopment district. As you see, a lot of the uses are coming out of the ground, and they're also occupying our stores, and we've got the groundbreaking coming up for the theater. So we need to do a better job of making sure that we get people to downtown that may just drive on 28 and bypass the city, get them to take a right or left on Manassas Drive. You will recall we did a Complete Streets mini assessment a few years back. It had several high-level recommendations with a number of implementation steps. One of those was a wayfinding sign plan. Again, aimed at predominantly getting people downtown, but also welcome to Manassas Park. If you see on 28, you'll see the welcome gateway sign to Manassas, the electronic LED board. Something very similar we're hopeful to get as well in Manassas Park. instead of the old school green, exit this jurisdiction, welcome to this one. So they recommended a number of sign types in the Complete Streets Assessment, both Gateway, welcome to Manassas Park, welcome to Park Central, and Wayfinding. Take a right here, take a left there. 25 to 30 total signs. We also looked at general recommendations as part of the Complete Streets study. We incorporated the city branding and logo that you did several years ago, but we wanted to make sure we stayed consistent with that. We put out an RFP, and Sign Graphics was hired as a local consultant to do the design. They incorporated, again, the branding into the specs of all the signs, did some mock-ups for us. We conducted a number of site visits with them, along with city staff. We had Public Works present, myself, Abdul, our transportation project manager, to identify what we felt were the good locations to put each of these signs. And as you can see here, this is a rendering or a mock-up of what we think the Gateway, Welcome to Manassas Park sign could look like. Obviously, there would be different messages that pop up there, different events, potentially other forms of advertising, but that's something that it could look like. And then you have on the back, thanks for visiting the city downtown, you have what we call a static gateway, meaning it doesn't change, it's not changeable. So we have Park Central, and these would be illuminated at night. Next you see, we kind of wanted to we played a little bit on the gateway, or I'm sorry, the business signs that you see on the interstates from VDOT, the blue color with logos and with arrows. So what we have here are four panel and then 6 panel destination signs for businesses. This would be business points of interest in the blue color. We would reserve spaces to allow them to put their logo. If they have a specific type of logo, they could put that on there, as well as an arrow. So we could have a model with 4 or 6. We also have the green signs, which are more points of interest. Points of interest versus business wayfinding. The points of interest signs would be specific to City Hall, public services, VRE, things of that nature, but again, aimed predominantly at getting people into Park Central and highlighting those assets we have here. We're hopeful to have a second kind of phase to this, if you will, that will highlight all the other assets in the city, other parks, Costello, Blooms, things of that nature, but we got to start somewhere, and we're starting with Park Central. So these are the locations that we identified. Hopefully you can see it, but the blue dots represent the business wayfinding sign. The signs, the green dots represent the points of interest, and then the yellow are the gateways and parking signs. I think I failed. Sorry, let me jump back one. I failed to note the parking sign also that incorporates the little tree. So we will have highlighted public parking spots for folks to know where to park. These are the approximate locations. We did go out to the field and verify all these. We tweaked these slightly, and there may be a couple other tweaks. We are going to hopefully shift the Park Central gateway that you see right to the north, if you're looking straight at this image, down south a little bit further. So there is some room to play around. We need to be very careful. Also, we did some preliminary investigation with Miss Utility to see if there were any significant conflicts. A couple locations do. The majority of them, we believe we can make work, but more of that will come as we go out to bid. And one other item I should note is we do believe that some of the green and blue, there may be a bit of overkill. So we wanted to do a little bit, we wanted to ensure that we had enough, but what you're seeing on the image to the left, there may be a little bit of overkill on 28 north and southbound. So depending on how the bids come back, we'll have to obviously prioritize, I think, the gateway signage, welcome to Manassas Park, and then some of the business signage that we're required to do with some of the development. But also welcome to Park Central. So we'll pick and choose when the bids come back, and we'll return at another meeting seeking your authorization to enter a contract. So again, Sign Graphics and city staff went out. We looked at all of those dotted locations on the maps. You'll see a couple examples of Top left is an image on 28 heading northbound. That would be just after the city line, because if we stay in the county line, we need VDOT authorization and we need additional permitting as a result of that. Obviously, there's going to be some work involved to get electric service here. We'd have to bore under. So that is going to be part of the bid package. There's the static gateway. You see that's at Euclid. As we travel down Euclid, just past the Euclid intersection coming down Manassas Drive towards Bank Street. You see an example of a point of interest sign, the green sign that is on Euclid Avenue as you're heading towards the intersection with Manassas Drive. You see Abdul posing with our business sign right there. That's before the Manassas Drive and 28 intersection. And then at the bottom, you see two images is if you're coming southbound on 28. There will not be two LED gateway signs there. There's alternatives. We looked at possibly putting it on a hill or possibly putting it in the median, and that's something that will be finalized in the near term, that location. I think what we need to do is examine fully the implications of getting electrical service to that and the costs that might come with it. So the next steps, we're going to prepare an IFB. We're going to release an IFB to get bids, identify the low bidder, and then phase and prioritize the signs based on costs and what we have to budget in the budget. So LED gateway obviously would be a priority. Hopeful once the bid phase is over, assuming that goes smoothly and we have responsive bidders, that will return to the governing body and request to enter a contract. We'll issue notice to proceed to the contractor, have them fabricate and install the signs hopefully this spring, start this spring, and then possibly start discussions for a new project for a second phase for all the other city points of interest on different areas of the city outside Park Central. And happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. We'll start with Councilmember Cyberling. Any questions?
No questions. I think it's a great start, and I'm happy that you said it's the start. We have to start somewhere, because there's a lot of parks on the historic side that people don't even know about. So.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation. It's very nice. It looks good. The only question I have is the one on coming into the city. That left turn lane, go further, forward. That right, yeah, that right there is. I make a left turn there. There's a lot of vehicles coming. It is. I mean, you're going to look and see if it blocks sight and all that.
Yes. Yeah. That's one comment.
It's a busy people.
Yeah, that's one comment I should have made too. All these signs are and will certainly be MUTCD uniform, the manual and uniform traffic control devices compliant. So meaning they'll meet all standards, but we need to absolutely ensure that all lines of sight are
That's a
met.
busy road right there, trying to make a left. I don't know if it could be pushed back a little bit. It may be appropriate there. I'm just a thought.
I like it in the center too.
I like in the center, should be pushed back a little more. Because I know that if you're at the second vehicle, you're still looking beyond to see if you can make a left, and it's just people drive fast there.
Yeah, right, entering Williams Quarry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, all lines of sight certainly will have to be met. We've had a couple comments too about that Euclid, the sign just past Euclid too. It takes up the majority of that island, the median, and there is a chance it could be hit. However, if we moved it to the right where we were initially looking at it,
hit a long time ago.
Tons of utilities.
It was hit.
Yes, there
2015.
was a wooden. Yes, there was a wooden sign.
It was
there.
destroyed. Was it hard?
It was, but with the number of utilities that are adjacent on the right-hand side, traveling, I guess that would be eastbound Manassas Drive, we may not be able to get it in over there, but.
Is there a way to make that median bigger?
We could look at shrinking some travel lanes, but.
How about making the sign smaller?
Or make the sign smaller, yeah. We'll make the sign smaller too.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't know if I didn't see it, but is there any plan to put any signage on Manassas Drive West side, since it's always very traveled as well? And there's nothing that says, go to downtown in that area.
Yeah, the one sign that we do have on Manassas Drive westbound, and thank you for the question, is at Mathis. We do have a sign at Mathis, but we did not initially put anything further on on Manassas Drive on the western end. We certainly can look to do that. We were targeting the volume of traffic that travels north and south on 28, thinking that's the majority of the trips.
It is, but there's also a lot of traffic that comes from other cities from our side
Definitely.
too, from the west side. So it'd be nice to
Absolutely.
have something that, that's like by the church, right at the border. If we could find a space, like where I guess where the Public Works building is now,
Okay. At which building, I'm sorry?
the Public Works
Public
building?
Works, yep.
Yeah.
For both the for both the business and the
Or
points?
anything that just, I mean, whatever we can afford.
No, sure.
Basically. But something that says, welcome to Manassas Park would be nice.
Got it. Thank you.
I have two questions. One I think is already answered in the slides, is that we do intend to have signs for our community center in the next phase of this.
Yes,
Okay.
that was something we talked about earlier on, but we thought, kind of given the initial recommendation of the Complete Streets plan, that we would try to tackle downtown. But yes, the hope is, and I've been in discussions with Lauren Luck and Jay Swisher about continuing this for parks access, yeah.
Then my other question is, how are we picking which businesses will be put on the signs?
We have a draft policy internally that has been prepared based on some of the VDOT criteria, how they pick their interstate signage. Obviously, some of the businesses are required through, discussions and contracts that we have with them to be placed on signage. That's in draft form, and we're going to have to circulate that as a policy with the city, but that needs to be finalized.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for the presentation. My only question is about anti-tagging surfaces. Are we making sure that, particularly the wayfinding signs that are low, people could walk up to, that it's going to be anti-tagging surfaces? Or can easily be cleaned if tagged?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I'm going to have to defer that to our sign consultant regarding the surface. I totally understand the concern, certainly not something we want on brand-new signs, but it's my understanding that the signs that will go up should not have issues regarding tagging, that they can be cleaned easily, but I'm not 100%
Is it
familiar
something that we
with
could include in the
the
RFP?
technology, but yes.
And let the vendors tell us what they can or cannot do?
I'm assuming there's a finish of some sort that can go on.
There is.
Yeah, that has to be included. We can't have tagged signs, certainly, so.
Yeah, well, we
Thank
should
you.
ask. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve, for the sign mock-up location slide, are you proposing 2 LEDs on the 28?
Yes, we are, one on northbound and one on southbound.
Okay, so it was just like directly across from each other. I don't know if you're putting it,
Oh, I'm sorry. We're proposing one on northbound and one on southbound. The image that shows two shows the potential location of one, there will be one.
okay.
So whether it's in the.
Because it's kind of overkill, I was just kind of.
Yeah, definitely. There's not going to be two there. There will be either one in the median or one on the right-hand side.
Okay.
There were a couple misutility conflicts that we identified also on the right side, which is why we put the one in the middle. We could potentially get over those, I believe, on the right side. But it's still, I guess, up for debate where we put that, the final one.
The other thing is that the one on Manassas Drive near the downtown, that's a static sign, right?
That's correct. The Park Central sign, yes.
Park Central. I don't know how the body would feel, but I kind of like the LED where we could kind of promote our downtown Fun Fridays and stuff like that on that downtown signage.
That's a good idea.
I would agree.
So, I mean, people that are traveling up and down that road, put promotions, even a governing body meeting or whatever, and that's, it'd be easy to market a lot of our festivities.
Are we still getting the LED screen for the movie theater on the outside of the theater?
What happened?
I couldn't understand, what on the theater?
Are we still getting the LED screen that we were supposed to be getting outside the movie theater?
We haven't committed to that yet, but we are having it wired so that we can put it up once we have found the funding, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other thing was like you can have businesses actually come and promote themselves on that sign as well, directly to their core customers. I mean, it's just
Sure.
like, hey, we have free donuts on Mondays for Yoder Donuts. So, I think we should consider an LED on that instead of the static.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Obviously, there's going to be a cost to come along with an additional
So it'd be
LED,
good to
but
compare.
we do have, the good thing about this project is moving forward, we'll have prototypes. For example, the mock-ups of the LED, we'll have, mock-ups of the wayfinding sign. So if and when we do a phase 2, or we want to do a different LED or a different Welcome to Manassas Park, gateway, we'll already have the design completed to kind of turn around and say, okay, do we want this exact same sign in this new location? Do we want to do an LED instead of a static? And we can incorporate that in the bid and get a comparison about what it would
Because you can technically
cost.
switch, you can switch the static and the LED on 28 and.
Correct. We could do that, or we can say we want, 4 LEDs and find out what the cost is and find out what a unit would be for, and then sort of pick and choose.
The last question is the VRE putting any wayfinding signage to their garage?
The VRE recently updated some of their signage. Well, I know they updated their signs to put a new logo for the surface parking lot. Just as you come over the tracks, you'll see a new VRE sign. I will have to get with them to check. I'm pretty sure that they are going to want to put something up. It hasn't been put up yet, but I'll have to confirm.
I would
with them.
assume a new garage, maybe something on 28.
Definitely.
To that point, I would see if there's a way we could collaborate with them, maybe a cost savings, if they're doing maybe a joint sign we could do with them.
Yeah, that in, at least as we were coming up with the mock-ups, one of the thoughts definitely was incorporating the VRE on one of our signs, but we should approach them and see if, they would be interested in sharing some of that responsibility, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Kevin, any questions, comments?
Yeah, so Steve, the mock-up on slide 2, is it possible that the signage could be raised up so the brick base is, maybe a couple feet high so that folks could see it? I know every afternoon, that intersection gets backed up, both at the light and the folks turning onto Boone's Quarry. Is that a possibility if we kept it on the left-hand side to avoid the utility issues that you spoke of?
I'm sorry, Councilmember, which slide?
Go back to the one you had up. It was like, right there.
Okay.
So the bottom left.
Yes.
That sign.
Mhm.
So imagine, wall-to-wall traffic on all of those lanes
Mm-hmm.
at, 4:30 in the afternoon. Could
Sure.
that sign be higher? Could it be on a 4-foot brick base, for example?
In the sign that's in the median, or the sign that is on the side?
The one in the median.
It could potentially. I think that would get to council members' concern regarding the line of sight. Could you see if you were turning there? But that is absolutely something that we can look at.
I understand.
If we could make that higher. We can adjust the base of any of these to make them higher. We could make the Park Central Gateway at Euclid smaller, to, I guess, right-size them. And these are not to scale too, I guess I should have said that, but yeah, we can look into that, and maybe there's something we can do to elevate it and have it be transparent in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know aesthetically how it would look, but maybe it's a brick base, like 2 poles so that people can see underneath it for the line of sight.
Okay.
But I'm sure your consultants will figure it out.
Sure. Yeah, we can ask that. Thank you.
Any final comments, questions?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're up to the consent agenda. Tonight, the consent agenda includes approval of the minutes from October 7th and 14th, 2025, and a motion authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Cox Communications for use of city right-of-way subject to city attorney review. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. All right, ordinance amending Chapter 26 of the City Code to prohibit firearms in city buildings.
Thank you, Mayor, governing body. As you know, this is a follow-on to the public hearing you all had at your previous meeting. Just as a quick summary, the proposed ordinance would prohibit, with some exceptions, the possession, carrying, or transportation of firearms, ammunition, and components thereof in city-owned or city-controlled buildings. As the ordinance was presented and as it remains, it has a delayed effective date of December the 1st to allow for appropriate signage to be put up. The ordinance also continues to have a single penalty, which is a Class 1 misdemeanor, so if the governing body would like something different, this evening would be the time to do that. And then finally, there are standard exemptions from the application of the ordinance. There is not currently included an exemption for concealed carry. So with that, we'll commend it to you for your consideration, and happy to entertain any amendments if the governing body would like it.
Vice Mayor, would you like to start?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Brian. And we had a wonderful public hearing a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I thought there was a consensus, but maybe we can get one tonight on a tiered approach to the fines. It would start out with the $250, which I think was a Class 4. It would go to $500, and then on the third offense, it would be the high $2,500. And in talking to this city manager, I agree that there should be a time element attached to this as well, so that, if you get a $250 on your first offense fine, and 10 years later you get another offense, it doesn't jump to $500. It would still do $50. So I think we should have some kind of time element between the periods of time that a person gets their first offense. I'm not sure what that is. I'm opening it to my colleagues. It's what they think, maybe a year or something like that before it goes to second offense. And I'm trying to think. So the concealed carry is not in the ordinance. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I hope it to stay that way. Otherwise, I think it defeats the purpose of this whole policy. And what other issue did you say we not resolved? I think December 1st being the starting date, if that's what the city is saying, if they need that time to get the signs up, that seems very appropriate to me as well.
Yes, that was the remaining issue. So it's essentially whether you want any additional exemptions and whether you want a graduated structure for violations and a time limit between.
Sure, I'd like to see it, like I said, the graduated and the time being December 1st. So let the rest of my colleagues weigh in.
We'll start with Kevin this time.
I'm happy with the two provisions that the Vice Mayor just laid out.
Okay. Councilmember Javed.
So you're proposing to keep the concealed weapon in the ordinance? Is that what?
No, it's not currently there. So I'm for leaving it out.
So leaving it out? So
Yes.
people that have concealed weapons can still enter the building? Is that what it means?
No, they would not be able to.
Okay.
It would cover people with concealed weapons or people who have.
So that's what I'm saying. So the ordinance will cover everybody that's holding?
Yes, okay, yes.
I mean, my approach is to kind of let the concealed weapons holders be able to enter public buildings if there's a compromise, if there to be a compromise to be met. The fine to me seems a little, because these people are not breaking any laws and they're not criminals. And proposing a tiered fine kind of gives a perception that we're treating them a different way than a regular citizen, saying that, we're going to enforce this by imposing this fine, and we're going to collect this from the rights that we took away. So, I mean, to me, I don't think there was a lot of discussion on this from the board. I think a work session should have been more appropriate to have an ordinance change of this magnitude. So the lack of discussion, even via email, I didn't even see anything about discussion on any of this tier fines or talking about this ordinance. If it's happened outside the doors, I'm not sure. But either way, I think the best thing is, even with the signs, I think it was an email that sent out, we don't even have a budget, I think he mentioned, how much would it cost to enforce this change? How much would it cost to put signs up? How are we enforcing this legislative change?
Yeah,
right?
we talked about that in the public hearing.
Yeah.
We said, it'd be not a proactive, but it would be a response to a complaint. It'd be complaint driven. So we wouldn't have the police department wanding, or we wouldn't have metal detectors at our front doors, but it would be complaint-driven. And as far as cost, I had a conversation with the city manager. You know, we have a sign-making machine. I'm not sure if you know that, Councilmember Hasib. We can make our own signs. And so it'd be a very little or low cost to the city to make the signs needed to go on the 3 or 4 buildings that the city actually owns. We're not talking about a great cost.
We're also talking about parks too, I think was included in this.
Yeah, so maybe 4 buildings.
Yeah,
Community center.
This is
Yes.
not, but no, we're not including the parks.
Yeah, the parks are not included,
This is
just
just
buildings.
buildings.
It's not driveways or parking lots or parks. It's just.
Well, I thought there was a
inside of
verbiage in there,
buildings.
something about signal
No, you
parking.
gotta read it, Mr. Hassi. It
Yeah.
has, it just doesn't say anything there about that, just owned buildings or leased property by the city. Councilmember.
Okay. Well, we know your stance. I am agreeing with you. Yes, I agree as well.
I agree. The only question I would ask is it possible just do January 1st in the 1 year, just because it'd be calendar to calendar? It
1
just-
year, you say?
I agree with you, 1 year, but can we do
January
it January 1st, just because it's.
I like that.
Because it's just the whole calendar.
Sure, sure.
Just be easier.
Change it.
And what about the time between tiers for
1
the
year,
mayor
so.
and councilmember?
1 year sounds fine.
And the
1 year
offense,
sounds-
the 1-year offense is just for offense in Manassas Park. So if they go into another jurisdiction and bring it in a,
That doesn't count.
then it doesn't count. It's only for if you do it multiple times in Manassas Park.
Correct.
That is correct. The one area of clarification I think you all may want to explore is typically when you talk about violations, I mean, folks can get cited for a lot of things. I assume you're of any of these would trigger the next level, because people can get cited all the time. Frankly, I know the police chief is here. My guess is if this works like in other jurisdictions, a lot of folks will be warned, or, you know, because again, the idea is people will do it unintentionally, people will do it not with deliberate intent. So, and then also my recommendation would be keeping tiers as simple as possible. I mean, there's 4 possibilities here, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You know, perhaps a 4 and a 3 or 4. Again, I'll leave that all up to you. And I understand Councilmember Dewitt's point about sort of doing this on the fly, but we just need to get a consensus from you all as to what you want in terms of number of tiers.
How many tiers do you feel are?
I thought 3 were appropriate. Yeah, 250, 500, and then the class 1?
So a class 4 for the first, class 3 for the second.
Correct.
Class 1 for the third or subsequent, and it would be 1 year between each one. So if there was not a year, it would revert back to the original.
That's correct.
The lower.
That's correct.
Okay, I understand the language. Let's see if there's consensus on that.
Does that work?
That's fine. Sorry, Councilmember Cyberling?
I'm okay with the tiers, but I think there should be an exception for concealed carry.
Oh, okay.
What's the, well, indulge me on the language, I didn't get a chance to read it, but what's the verbiage on the off-duty officers? What's the?
They would be allowed.
And we don't have any armed officers at any of our buildings, that's correct, right? There's nobody here.
Well, in the school, if you
Well,
count
the
the
chief
school.
is here.
Well, we're not talking about the schools, schools
Oh,
are
they already have a
different.
policy.
It's just the rec center,
And
this
this,
building,
right.
public works, social services,
And the-
development services, or the
Yeah.
permitting.
Correct.
Mayor, so just so everybody hears it again, the current included exemptions, which mirror the exemptions that most other jurisdictions that have enacted one of these, especially in our area, are, number 1, for Reserve Officer Training Corps, standard, intercollegiate athletic programs, which should not be a major issue here, military personnel when acting within the scope of their official duties, sworn law enforcement officers, and personnel of retired law enforcement officers to the extent exempted by LEOSA, and then private security personnel hired by the city when they're present in a building subject, well, in the performance of their duties. Those are the existing exemptions under this.
And I think law enforcement would apply to anybody who's DCGIS certified, correct? So the language
Yes.
say that include the marshal.
Correct.
Do we have cameras in the parking lot or anything like that?
You do, yes.
In,
Our parking lots? So what my concern is let's say we do have concealed carry, they put their stuff in their trunks before they come in here so that they can pay their bill or concealed carry. So they want to obey the law, they put it in the trunk, and then someone ransacks their trunk. do we have somebody, like cameras outside in the parking lot,
I think in the building.
Some of our buildings we do, and we do have them here.
in the parking lot? Okay.
Okay, so is everyone in favor of the 3 tiers with the 1-year buffer?
Yes.
Anyone, I should say, anyone not in favor of the 3 tiers?
Well, I'm gonna abstain because like I said, it's just too fast and we.
You're abstaining and no for the whole thing?
Right.
Okay. Anyone else? But everyone's good with that, okay. And then, how do I phrase this? Who wants to see the concealed carry included, as in they are also not allowed to bring their guns? And are you?
Yes,
I'm
I
sorry,
do
Mayor.
want-
Could you restate that?
Yes, how should I state it? The concealed carry is
Not
not an
included.
exemption.
Correct,
It's
so,
not
exempt.
correct.
Yes, that's
So right now, there is no ability to, I'm sorry, if this is enacted, there would be no ability to bring a firearm within
Right.
public buildings, concealed carry.
Right,
And I agree with that point.
okay,
I agree.
I agree.
okay.
And no.
You do not, okay. Kevin?
I agree.
Okay. So the majority, are we ready to vote on this tonight, or do we need to bring it back with the change in the tiers?
I think we can vote
can vote
on
on
tonight
tonight.
with the changes that have been mentioned.
And I believe also January 1st instead of December 1st for the effective.
Yes, we decide on January 1st.
You.
Okay. Do I need to change the motion at all then?
You could just say the motion as amended by
As amended.
consensus.
Okay. So the motion is to approve the amendment to Chapter 26 of the Code of the City of Manassas Park to add a new Section 26-10 pertaining to the prohibition on the possession, carrying, or transportation of firearms, ammunition, or components thereof in city buildings, to include a delayed effective date of January 1st, 2025, as amended tonight.
Moved.
You moved it,
I'm
so I'll
sorry,
second.
you
No, no, second, that's fine. But I would ask, we could have a roll call vote, please?
Sure, yes. So moved and seconded. Roll call, we'll start with Councilmember Cywilling.
No.
Yes.
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 No.
Kevin?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Land use design of Ivy Park.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. There have been a few changes to this application since the public hearing. We have the applicant's representative, Janelle Cameron, participating remotely tonight. So I'm going, and she has a presentation that I'll be helping her go through. Janelle, can you hear us? So I was just going to defer to the applicant to go through the changes of the application.
Okay. Welcome, Janelle.
Thank you for allowing me to join remotely. I'm Janelle Cameron of Walsh Bucci, here again on behalf of Kay Canadian for the Ivy Park project, and we made a couple of changes between Planning Commission, between the governing body meeting based on feedback that we heard. So I thought it'd be helpful if I just quickly run through those changes that were made. The first change, and if I share my screen, can you all see it? Or did you need to change it?
No, I'm going to change it for you, Janelle. Just let me know.
Okay. Thank you. And unfortunately, I can't see the screen from the computer, but the second slide, please, would be helpful.
Okay, done.
Thank you. So the applicant made a minor change to the date of the master development plan and design guidelines. That did not change what was actually in the agenda package that you all reviewed on October 7th. It was just a cleanup item as a typographical error. Next slide, please. There were specific questions regarding fencing on the site, and we were specifically asked to look at whether or not we would be able to do some sort of sound noise barrier along the property line to the north. So the applicant has committed that the fence located on the northern property line adjacent to tax map number 30-3-3, which is the industrial owned property that the city of Manassas Park owns, shall be a minimum of 8 feet tall and have a minimum rating of STC 23. And in speaking with Canadian sound consultant, the sound barrier is really based on height and the rating of the wall. And so 8 feet will provide significant reductions in sound. And the minimum rating of STC 23 is VDOT's minimum rating that they require for sound barriers adjacent to highways. Next slide, please. And finally, it was requested that in the overhead utility lines proffer that we change it from if after 12 months to after 6 months, and we made that change. And with the addition of the fence proffer, we had to change the eminent domain language to specifically reference the new proffer number as it related to the overhead utility lines. And those were our changes, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Okay, we'll start with Kevin. Any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Javed?
I think it was the question about the buffer. What was the comment on that?
So the specific comment, when we discussed the buffer, there was a concern about the buffer being able to provide additional noise mitigation. And the question that was specifically asked was, could we do sort of a brick or stone wall to help with noise mitigation? And what we committed to was providing a sound wall to the northern property line. That will help with sound reduction.
But the distance itself didn't change?
The distance itself did not change.
Okay. Thank you.
No question.
I don't have any questions. I am happy to see the sound wall added. That makes me feel better about the buffer reduction.
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, so I just looked up what STC 23 means, and it's something you can hear audible speech through. It's equivalent to a thin wall or hollow core door. So that's what STC 23 means. So the door in your interior of your house that you can talk through is what STC means. STC 23 means. So it's considered hollow and standardized measure of how well a wall, door, or window or barrier blocks airborne sound. So it's not actually very good.
So it's not the equivalent of what the highway has then?
Not according to this, no. It says 20 to 25. What you hear is very audible speech. It's a real-world example is a thin wall or hollow core door. 30 to 35 is basically a basic apartment wall. 40 to 45 is a standard insulated 2x4 wall. 50 plus is excellent sound insulation, high-end condos and hotels. And 60 plus is soundproofing level, specialty construction.
Janelle, did you want to respond to that?
So we took this, so the sound consultant looked at VDOT's manual, and specifically for VDOT manual for the wall ratings that are adjacent to highways, they have a minimum requirement of an STC 23. And so that is how the rating was based on VDOT's requirements.
And it's a wooden fence. So Alondra,
It would be it can be any material. So basically what we were told is that the thickness of the fence, so it doesn't necessarily matter what the material is, it's really the thickness of the fence that provides that rating.
So density usually helps with sound barrier, which is why they put concrete on the side of highways, is because the denser it is, the more it absorbs sound. So if you have something like wood, you're going to be able to get sound through it.
But that's not a highway.
It's not, but that rating to say that a wooden fence is going to dampen sound and would make up 20 feet that they want us to cut. So I don't agree with that.
Can I ask again what the impact to the community would be if the buffer was not reduced?
It would be a reduction in units.
It would be a reduction in
I think
units.
it's 4 units.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Last meeting I asked and I was told it would just be a reduction of the ability of trucks to turn around in the road.
In the civil engineer impact, it would also be a reduction in units.
Do you know how many?
Hold on one moment, I can give that answer. I believe it is 4.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have anything while we wait?
Are we voting on the waiver separately or all together?
We could do it either way.
I don't know how we usually do it.
I would definitely, if they were able to increase it to the 40, I would be okay with keeping the streets smaller and making this work, but they need to concede a little bit on that sound. I don't think we should just make that same mistake again. There's no reason to give up 4 units to make it a better place for folks to live. And
What's your opinion?
I'm satisfied with the applicant and everything they did, so I'm ready to move forward
You're
and
okay
vote.
with the way it is?
Yes.
All right, hold on. Okay, Yessie,
I'm okay with the way it is.
Daryl,
I'm okay with the way it is.
Yessie,
The buffer to be kept the same,
at 40 or 20?
40. yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we have people already complaining right now.
Kevin, what is your feeling about keeping it as is or requiring the buffer to remain at 40?
I'm okay with it as is.
No, as is moving to 20, right?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay.
All right, well, it looks like the majority is in favor of as is, so.
Just for the record, the businesses that are in that building north of the unit, they operate on 9 to 5. So there might be some delays during normal business hours, but it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 operations. And I know there was some commentary about, loud cars there at night, but that's not, that shouldn't fall on the applicant. Yeah, that's our responsibility as a city to investigate those things and look into it.
Okay. Is there any,
And it would be a reduction, sorry, I wanted to be able to answer your question, it would be a reduction in 4 units.
okay. All right, thank you. Well, it looks like the majority is in favor of as is. So I'll read the motion. Is it this on the piece of paper?
Yeah, you can pick what you would
The whole entire
like.
thing?
There's one
So-
option if you're approving
Right.
I'll read
it
the top
without
one.
modification.
Well, if you read the top one, you're not changing any of the waivers below.
We're not. The majority is fine.
So
as
then
is.
then the first motion at the top, as you said, completely appropriate.
Okay. I move that the governing body approve rezoning RZ 2025-01 to rezone the subject properties from the I-1 Industrial District and PUD, Planned Unit Development, to PUD, Planned Unit Development Residential, subject to the third submission, as revised through July 17, 2025, of the Master Development Plan and proffer statement dated October 13, 2025. Furthermore, I move that the governing body approve zoning waivers WAI 2025-01A through WAI 2025-01C and public facility manual waivers PFW 2025-01A through PFW 2025-01F.
So moved.
Second.
All right, and we'll do this one roll call too, so we'll start down here.
Roll call.
no.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm gonna abstain, yeah.
Abstain. Kevin?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. I knew we had one more. Okay, Ring Central, replace the phone system.
Oh, yes.
It's only 8:30.
No.
Yes.
We do.
Oh, it's only 8:30.
We should be out right now.
No, we're
It's so
not.
fast.
We're moving.
8:34.
No, we should move the question.
Michael,
No, we should be faster.
You can speak slowly, Don.
No, can I?
Michael wants you to
No,
speak
quicker,
slowly.
please. Over there.
We want all the
Or
details.
your budget, 50%
You've got,
reduction.
you've got 30 minutes. You can,
We want all the
we can
details.
stay.
No, we don't have 30
No,
minutes.
no.
We need a
All right.
timestamp.
All right. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and governing body. I'm here to talk to you about the phone system. Our current phone system is...
Did they turn it on?
Oh, we hear you.
Oh, there we go. How's that? You think I'd know how to turn the button on myself?
I wasn't going to say it. Yeah.
I told you I'm tired. We're going to talk about the phone system. Our current phone system is now getting to end of life, and we're looking to move forward to a better system. We looked at several different systems. Ring Central won out on everything that it gives us and the price. Our phone vendor that we use right now, IPC, actually uses it themselves, so they're very good knowing the product, and they will be the ones who help us move everything over to them. There's a lot of good stuff that comes with it. One, we won't have to rely on copper wires anymore.
Hey.
Yeah, and here in the city, we have lost phone service several times this year just because of Verizon and copper. And we don't know, they keep saying, no, we're going to upgrade you, but we never know with them. This will get us off that and into a better platform. So, any questions?
Great. I forgot which side we're starting with. I'll start with.
No questions, thank you.
The only question I have is, are you not implementing Teams phones for any of them and removing some phones?
Yeah, we will be doing some phones with it has an add-on for Teams. That was one of the big things. So some people, it depends on if they want the phone or not, or use it. It'd also be mobile.
Because if you do Teams, you can directly do it off the surface with a headphone, and that way you eliminate the cost of the phone. We're doing that right now at my employer. So
Right.
So you're looking to eliminate some
we
of the-
looked at Teams itself as a line. We decided not to. We went with Ring Central. It does incorporate within Teams.
Right.
And you can use your computer instead of headphones.
Right.
So some people will probably be doing that. Some we'll be able to reuse some of our phones. So we're not getting rid of all our phones and redoing
So some of them
all.
will transition. Okay.
So yeah, some of the nicer phones will transition. Some we won't even renew.
Thank you.
Question?
No question.
Thank you, Don, for the presentation. I have a question about, these phones will be placed throughout the city, including Treasurer and Commissioner of Revenue?
Yes.
And will they have voicemail function?
Oh, yeah. So one of the differences is that everyone will have an actual phone number. There's a lot more stuff that we can do with this Ring Central that we couldn't do before. One of the things is we'll have electronic faxing through numbers so that if they're working from home, they can still send a fax, receive a fax. That won't be a problem. Also, all voice messages are actually emailed to them with a written out to them, transcribed, so they can actually see what they're getting. There's more routing that we can do with it than we could do with our phone system right now.
And would departments be able to say, we want to turn off the voicemail and not allow our employees to have voicemail? Is that capable in the system for a department?
Yeah, oh yeah. We can, certain numbers you may not want to have a voicemail, and some you will. But yeah, you'll have that capability if you want.
That's a problem. For me.
Well,
I'm
they
sure other people
won't,
die,
so
but cutting
they
off your
won't
voicemail.
be able to do it, no. They have to submit a ticket, it has to come to us, and we would have to turn it off.
Gotcha.
So that's all on our side of it, on that. And that would have to be done through appropriate.
Yeah, okay. That's good to hear. Okay, thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
I'll eliminate. I understand, I don't know, the Commissioner of Revenue and some of the treasurers aren't allowed to use a voicemail system. And so I hear a number of complaints from citizens who say they never answer their phone. And then when they're not able to leave a message because their voicemail is turned off. So that infuriates them even more. And to say that we have departments that may be doing that is troubling to me.
Right.
Everyone should be able to call and leave a voicemail.
I think
And be
there's
responded to
changes.
within 72 hours. So I really do believe the council should at some point take a phone policy and look at it and think about adopting something for our city. Because customers' complaints is huge. We just get all kind of complaints about people not answering their phones or not being able to leave a message. So anyway, that's me.
But we'll
Weird.
make sure that everyone has, everyone has the capability to have a voice. With our current one, yes, there are some that, because of the price, but this is all included. The
That's
other
great.
thing is that long distance is all included into that, but you wouldn't understand, finance would understand is our long distance, we can only pay by check in the mail.
Wow.
You remember that company called MCI?
Yes.
They still kind of exist
Wow.
with Verizon. So so we'll be saving money with faxes, we'll be saving money with our long distance and some of the other combining and getting rid of some of the Verizon stuff, so.
Fantastic.
Can
Thank
I
you.
ask something real
Thank
quick
you.
about the phone? Does it have the ability to call, give you the time possibly that the phone will be answered? So when people are waiting, let's say the phone will be estimated wait time's 10 minutes, and does that have the ability also, some places do this with the phone tree, that they can call you back?
I would have to look into that, I
Okay,
don't
that's
know
all
if
I
they
thank
do.
you.
That's a great question.
It does log the time. I use it right now in my business, but it does log the time and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments, questions? Kevin, comments, questions?
Hey, Doc, can you just talk a little bit about, I don't know if this is in the contract, but some Ring Central as a provider, do we feel confident that they have the appropriate, what's the term I want to use, like business continuity if things go down?
Yes, they have 5 nines on there, which means that they're only down for 8 minutes a year.
Okay,
Supposed to be.
That's good to hear. The only reason why I bring it up, I don't know anything about Ring Central. I just know in the past, sometimes local governments will go with the lowest cost provider, and sometimes those providers go out of business, leaving the customers in a difficult spot, having to go out and purchase very expensive equipment or services at the drop of the hat. So I just want to make sure that you guys are not just looking for a good value for the taxpayers, but also are confident in the quality of service, the SLAs that they commit to.
I agree with you on that point. I try not to always, when I look at the lowest bid, I'm always looking at why is it the lowest bid, for one. And we looked more at what it could do for us. We also talked with IPC, who is our phone vendor right now, and they've been using it for a couple of years. And so they gave it a thumbs up, saying that it was a good service. They've been around for a while, and we looked at that. And then we did look at a couple others, but with everything we were able to get with it, made it a kind of no-brainer for us.
All right, thank you for that.
No problem.
And a good feature of it is that it's bilingual.
Yep.
You can, because, if there's like Spanish or Hispanic people speaking individuals, you might not have them on staff. You're getting to have the Ring Central, talking Spanish and stuff. So it's pretty neat to do other languages.
And Vice Mayor?
Yeah, Don, just for my clarification, given the conversation, so we did do a bid, or is this a sole source contract?
It was, we didn't do a bid, we did sole source.
We should put that in the report from now on.
Okay.
I really hate
We're
when
not
we do sole
writing
source.
But
don't
we
tell the
didn't do a
council.
bid, but we did do we looked at like 3 different companies.
Oh, so you did a 3-quote.
We did do that.
Okay, so it's not a sole source, it's a 3-quote.
It is not, it is
3
also
quotes.
Sourcewell, we're writing, these other people have done this, so we're not, it wasn't procured that way, sole source.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
And just since I'm talking, another comment, Vice Mayor, One of the other features is when you leave a voicemail, it's transcribed and it's sent to your email. So they
I
will
love
get
that.
an email every time they get a voicemail. So I share your frustration with people not doing that, but I think that's a great feature that helps avoid some of the problems that come with not answering the phone.
And just, Mr. City Manager, for the future, I mean, I appreciate the fact you guys did call 3 other businesses. If you just put that in the body of the report, so, you know, I don't have to ask the sole source question each time, because I have a problem with those. Okay, thank you, Don.
I think we have to put those on our website too if we sole source, right? We have to publicly show that.
Yeah,
we
and it actually has to come to you if it's sole source.
Yes.
So, yeah, we don't have the ability to do that on our own.
No, I realize it would still come to us, but it tells me that we haven't bid, we just given it to a vendor, and just that information on how we
Sure. Yeah.
procured
That's a good point.
whatever
Yeah.
product it is.
Yeah, noted.
Put in the language.
Okay. The motion is that the governing body authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Ring Central for the purchase of a new phone system in the amount of $41,106.50 for equipment, $37,526 FY '26 monthly service fees, as presented and subject to final city attorney review.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. We're at our second public comment time. Would anyone like to make public comment? Okay. City manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, that item was just about $1,000 over my signing limit. So that's why we had to bring it to you for this one, because the term of it just went over by about $1,000. So, all right. So tonight, just a couple of things on the calendar. So October 25th at noon at the community center is trunk or treat. So there'll be a bunch of cool cars and people giving away candy for anyone that wants to go out there and partake. It's free to the community, so October 25th from noon to 2. Also on October 31st, while it is Halloween, it also happens to be last Friday, so we will be having our last Friday event. It will be Halloween themed, so put that on your calendar as well. Do want to note that city facilities will be closed on November 4th to observe Election Day, and that means our governing body meeting that normally would have been November 4th will be November 5th on Wednesday at the same time, 7 p.m. And then last, the first impact of the government shutdown has come to us in that our bird sanctuary project, which we were working with the EPA on refining the details of the RFP, has been delayed because the people that work for the EPA aren't allowed to work with us. So I just thought I'd mention that because I know it's an important project and it may be later than it is. So otherwise, I don't have anything else unless you have questions for me.
I have a question. Did we hire the event coordinator yet?
Yes, the event coordinator starts November 3rd. I tentatively have her on the agenda for November 5th for introduction, but she doesn't know that yet, so we might move it to the second meeting in November, depending on what her schedule is.
So I heard a rumor from the farmers market vendors, one of them, I guess, that someone's saying that we're no longer going to have our farmers market. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
Quick question, when are we getting our personal property tax bills? I'm gonna ask.
I would say we extended the deadline to December 5th, and anything beyond that, you're going to have to ask
Well,
the,
that's the due date. When are we getting actually the bill, like how much we owe?
you'll have to ask the Commissioner of the Revenue.
All right, thank you.
It doesn't answer their phone.
I know.
I would like to thank
Good luck
staff for
getting
following.
that.
The Halloween event was very well attended, and it was a really fun event, so thank you everyone who had a part in that.
Absolutely, and go police, they won the pumpkin carving contest.
Yeah, your pumpkin.
Congratulations. That was amazing.
You guys are very talented.
It looked really good. That was a lot of work.
All right, we do have a closed meeting. Michael's excited. The motion is that the governing body convene a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1 to discuss personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. All right, we're in closed meeting. We'll meet in the back room in 5 minutes.
So exciting.